Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Welcome to Speak. Happy Friday.
Woo!
What is going on?
I have to take that quick shot. I love those things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love these things. All right, let's get it.
We're not gonna vlog it, but
hey, it's Father's Day weekend.
Paul is ready for the show. Just so you guys know, the jib prompter is down. I'm Joy Taylor here with Super Bowl champion Keyshawn Johnson, NBA Finals MVP Paul Pierce, and Fox Sports analyst Rick Bucher. We are
Senior analyst.
Senior analyst.
Right.
By the way,
senior analyst.
Is his shirt blurry or it's my eyes?
No, it's not blurry. It's just the way
it's summertime. Yeah. This is summertime vibes.
Summertime, Paul.
I'm saying this is summertime
Sunny
vibes.
out.
I'm gonna put you on. You know what I'm saying?
You gonna take care of it?
I know you still.
You think you can pull that off?
You still got black and white TVs at your house.
You can pull that off?
No.
You can pull this off.
Not a chance.
You can pull this off, dog.
Zero chance.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I gotta show you.
Maybe short sleeve.
11 o'clock Saturday, my house.
You put that on, you're gonna just look super rich. You're gonna look super rich.
Yeah.
That's all.
Listen, you get to my house at 10 o'clock. We're gonna have hot take class at 10. We're gonna have summer shirt wearings at 11. So sign up.
The Pacers won Game 3 on Wednesday to take a 2-1 series lead. Indiana hasn't trailed in a series this postseason, despite being the underdog at the beginning of every round. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander struggled in Game 3 and didn't lead the Thunder in scoring for only the third time this postseason. So big game tonight. Paul, how did the Thunder avoid going down 3-1 tonight in Indiana?
Well, first thing they need to do, they need to take the crowd out the game. They need to do what they do. They got to get a big lead and hold on to it. They got to go out there and impose their will on defense, which they've done all year long until this series for some reason, because they changed their lineup for some reason. They decided to outsmart themselves, and it's not looking good. Get back to what you know. Defend, steal the ball, turn them over, keep the Pacers in the half court, and when you get the lead, keep the lead. Because we know that the Thunder, at times, they have spurt ability where they can push the lead from 10, 15 to 20. Don't let the Pacers stay in striking distance. You got to go out there and impose your will. Shai, I expect Shai to do Shai things. Now, what you can't do, you can't allow the Indiana bench to go off again. I mean, T.J. McConnell, I like to call him Home Alone. He just be out there. He just went crazy on him. 5 steals. His impact, his numbers didn't tell the impact that he had. You know what I'm saying? He just completely changed the game when he came in. And another thing, he takes pressure off Halliburton with his ball handling because they can't pick him up full court. So for the Thunder, you guys have to have big games out of your big three. Chet, of course. Jalen, J-Dub, as they like to call him. And, of course, you know, Shai has to be the MVP he was all year long. But they need a spark from their bench because even if them guys are having big games, last game they scored 70 points, they big three. But the bench was not a factor. And if the bench can be a factor and outplay, this is the battle of the benches, truthfully. If whoever bench outscores the other team's bench is going to win. That's the key.
That's the key. See, Paul said it all. No, SGA got to be more aggressive, right? 24 points is cool, but he needs to be closer to 35 points, right? Yeah, obviously, Paul mentioned Williams and Chet. They both got to be aggressive. But in all trueness, if you go back to Game 2, their bench was the reason they won the game. Mm-hmm. The bench was the reason they lost Game 3. Now, they can't afford to have that happen again. They can't get outplayed. They can't get outscored on. They can't get outcoached. They can't get out-rebound. And they do have to take the crowd out of the game. can't surrender the lead. And I don't know that they will this time around. If they get up, let's say double digits, they gotta hold on to that. They can't play into Indiana's hands, and we all know what Indiana likes to do. They like to keep it close, and then they like to come and grab it at the end. And they can't afford to let them do that.
Agreed.
And one more thing. They got to find a way to close Steak and Shake down before the game. If OKC can do that, they got a shot. Because when them fans coming off that Steak and Shake,
In other words,
it's over.
in other words, they can't. That's the short answer. They can't avoid going down 3-1.
No.
Well, if that's a key, then I don't know. It's not
Right?
Steak and Shake and stay open.
But I also think they can't avoid going down 3-1. I have a hard time, for all the things that you said, I have a hard time seeing the OKC bench or the role players outplaying the Indiana role players in Indianapolis. But that said, in order for those role players to have a bigger impact, you've got to find a way to make the game less hard. Mark Dagnall, the OKC coach, has to find a way to make the game less hard on SGA and Jalen Williams. Because while SGA had 24 points, it was a hard 24 points. And he played 42 minutes. That's the most that he's played in any of these games. He played 39 in game 1, and they lost at the end. Like, he's got to find a way to, maybe you still keep him on the floor, maybe he plays that many minutes, but the way that he's having to score is grinding to get them. You got to find a way to maybe get him off the ball and get him some easy buckets so that he can still have an impact. To me, that's the number one thing, because we've just seen in the fourth quarter, no matter what OKC does in the first 3 quarters, Indiana is just taking something out of them, taking bites out of them all along the way. And then by the time they get to the fourth quarter, Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam and whoever it is with the Indiana Pacers, they still look fresh. They're like, okay, now we're going to play. And OKC with Shai and Jalen, they look like, can we get to the finish line? That has to change.
They gave me a look. I don't know, before you go, Joy, I saw a look in OKC's eye. It's a look that I've seen many times on the court when you defeat somebody. I can't even explain it. It's
Yeah.
It's that, that look. That look, they got that look.
You just saw your face.
Disbelief. It's like I saw it.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, though. It's like, what I say yesterday, it's like you broke their will. Mm-hmm. I think I saw that in Oklahoma, though. When I see that look, you got them. They will.
You know, as a competitor, when you have nothing left to give.
Man.
Like, it just does. Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
You push that button and there's no response.
There's nothing left. There's no more gas in there. That's what you feel. I don't like putting it on the bench, though. I don't like putting it on the bench. I don't. It's the answer, but I don't like putting it on the bench.
I get that.
The reason, though, I feel comfortable with all of us saying it is because the stars are starring. Right. So if there's only so much you can ask, and this is a time to be immortal, right? This is a time for SGA to rise above the double teams and the fatigue and just tap into whatever that superstar finals extra Michael's secret stuff thing.
Do we know he has that? Just because you're a regular season MVP.
I don't know that anybody has that at some point.
But he's played well, just not.
I know, but we're asking him to go next level. And even if you're going to get the bench to perform, to me, this is the tricky part between OKC and Indiana. And you mentioned it with T.J. McConnell. Like, they have other guys in Benedict Mathurin and T.J. McConnell who can get their own bucket off the bench. Mm-hmm. I don't know that OKC has that. Like, can Alex Caruso
could get his own bucket.
I saw Wiggins do it in game 2.
Wiggins could do it.
That was mostly threes, though, and it was off of.
You just said his own bucket. What a 3 or 2? What's the difference?
I mean, create your own bucket, as opposed to SGA or Jalen Williams getting busy and drawing a second defender. Now you swing it, and now you're giving Alex Caruso an open corner 3 or Aaron Wiggins an open 3. Like, to me, they're getting theirs off of their action. You can put the ball in T.J. McConnell's hands, and he's going to get.
But I want them to get theirs off of that action because I need my ones and twos to do their job, and part of that of them doing their job is being able to penetrate and kick.
I know, but that's part of the fatigue. Like when T.J. McConnell and Benedict Mathurin come in as subs, they can still create their shots and get shots for other guys. Tyrese Halliburton doesn't have to do all of that. Pascal Siakam doesn't have to do all of that.
Yeah.
So your second unit has the capability of doing that, and they're just not worn out. Whereas, like, if SGA is not breaking them down, Jalen Williams isn't breaking them down, who else is?
I think this game is going to have to be a game where Dagnall does his best coaching. He does his best tweaking of the lineup. He does his best substitutions and has a real game plan that they can execute. This is going to be the moment that he has to do that.
Yeah.
That has to be executed. If they're not going to go out there and blow the Pacers out. If they do their thing that they are maybe the best at, which is just blowing teams out, just getting this incredible lead, going on those Warriors-like runs and blowing them out, which is possible, then they're going to have to do their best coaching and executing. There's always moments in finals, in championship games, and in these situations where it comes down to the little tweaks. It comes down to the one play. It comes down to the strategic timeout. It comes down to the strategic substitution. And we haven't really gotten to that point in no series for the Thunder except for the Nuggets series. And the Pacers have had to do that many times because they've been underdogs in every single situation that they've been in. The Thunder haven't. The Thunder have been expected to win. The Thunder have been in front. Now you're having to be strategic. Now you're having to make these tiny adjustments, and that's what Rick Carlisle has been able to counter every single time. So this is, I think, a big moment for that situation. So, Paul, on your championship run, your Celtics had a 2-1 lead heading into Game 4. Y'all went into win in 6 games, but take us back to before your Game 4. How did you approach that game with a series lead?
Man, our mindset was like, listen, we were a team that said, hey, we got to get this game right here in Game 4 because when a team gets 2 wins in a series, you got the momentum. So we had the momentum first 2 games. Third game, they beat us, so we was like, they can't beat us 2 in a row. We treated it like a Game 7 because we was like, man, if the Lakers get a 2-game win streak, they got the momentum. And when you got a guy like the Mamba over there, they take advantage of that. And we just went in and said, hey, and the crazy part about it, I think that was a game we was getting blown out the building. We were down 20, and that was a comeback game for us, I believe. But once you win Game 4, if you have a 2-1 lead, you know you have control of the series. And that was the crucial thing for us. We wanted control of the series because we knew that, like, whenever you have the best player that's on the other team, anything can happen. That's the year Kobe was the MVP. And we had success playing in L.A. That year. So this is a crucial game for both teams because if OKC win this, they're probably go on to win the series, truthfully. So
you think the Pacers should treat this like a Game 7?
I think all the pressure's on the Pacers. Even though they're at home, even though they got a 2-1 lead, all the pressure is on the Pacers because now you're asking the Pacers, can you go back into Oklahoma and win again? Which they've been dominant at home all year long. I give you one, but I'm not sure you beat the Pacers twice on their home floor in the playoffs, let alone the finals. So this is a must-win for the Pacers to seize control of the series and ultimately bring home their first title since the merger, I believe. I don't even know they had one in the ABA.
Pacers never had
nothing on no league.
Not in the NBA.
They should feel good about the position that they're in, but they got to get up and go 3-1.
Yep.
They don't need to mess around with the 2-2 because if they, like Paul is saying, if they go back to OKC, that's going to be tough, okay? And if they beat OKC at home, nobody's coming back. I mean, it happened 4% of the time or something ridiculous. Like, what's the percentage? 4%?
LeBron's not walking through that door at 28.
Yeah, exactly. So you get up at 3-1, you, to a degree, feel real good. Even if you went back to OKC and you lose, you come back home
1,000%.
to close it all the way out the way that you think you can.
Pacers have 3 ABA titles.
Oh, see, I told you
y'all
since
said
the
ABA?
merger.
I said NBA.
NBA.
No NBA titles. They have 3 ABA
I wasn't even
titles.
born
Since the
during
merger.
the ABA.
Yeah.
They had, I knew
Rick,
they
you
probably
covered the
I knew
ABA.
it was coming.
Right?
I knew it was coming.
Played in the ABA,
So
as far as you know.
Didn't you used to ref the ABA?
Yeah. I did.
Rick, how should they handle the 2-1 lead?
As has been said, they can't give away home court advantage. Their advantage is their role players. That's the Indiana Pacers' secret sauce, and role players play best at home. And so if this goes back to OKC 2-2, you've handed everything back to the Thunder. You've wasted everything that you've done to this point. Mm-hmm. And to Paul's point, I don't see Indiana winning if it's 2-2 and OKC has home court. Because it will restore everything that the Thunder believe about themselves and everything that the Pacers have reason to believe about themselves.
Yeah, they need to keep their foot on the gas. Their best chance of winning this series is winning tonight's. They have to keep all the pressure on OKC, because if OKC can split on the road with the Pacers, and this is best of 3 with 2 games at home, like that's all of the momentum is back in the Thunder's hands. And to both of your points, the Pacers are not relying on, but they're using their role players. And that's what happened, and they play better at home. When you have the best player in the series, which Shai is, you feel good if you're in a situation that you've split on the road with the Pacers. Like, this is an even series now. So I'm with you. I hate using must win, but it feels like
if they want to win the title.
Yeah.
They want to win the title for the Pacers. This is a must.
Also, if they lose this game, it'll start to creep in their mind. You don't want it creeping in your mind as a team like, oh, man, we had a shot.
Yep.
We should be 3-1 now. We 2-2. We going back to OKC.
This game is the create doubt game for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, because no team has ever come back from 3-1 except for a team with LeBron on it. He's not playing in this series.
Right.
The Pacers and Thunder are both small market teams, but the Thunder have the current league MVP. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but Rick, how would a Pacers title change the NBA?
I think it would hasten what we've already seen, which is this idea of you need a big 3, you need superstars and a collection of superstars in order to play for a title. That will be gone. And because of the athleticism, the speed at which the game is played, we're seeing that depth and versatility of a roster is key. So there is that. And then there's also, let's throw out the window this idea that if you're in a small market, well, we just can't compete because we can't get free agents. Free agents aren't coming to the small markets. They're going to all the big markets. This is for the most part a homegrown team. Both of these teams are built on their draft picks. Yep. It took a little bit of patience, but the reality is that that's what they're built on. You add an Isaiah Hartenstein or an Alex Caruso, those are ancillary pieces. But when I look at what the Pacers are made of, it's really about our depth and versatility. This might be, I'm trying to think of another, and I should have looked this up, but I'm trying to think of another NBA Finals championship caliber team that played a 9-man rotation. And this is not like 7 guys and then we throw 2 more guys out there. They had 9 guys in game 3 that played 15 or more minutes. They all played significant roles. And meanwhile, OKC went the old way, and they had 7 guys who played 15 minutes or more. I've never seen a team this far into the playoffs be successful playing that many guys. But as so far, so good.
I don't think it changes anything at all. And I understand we have this idea of these 3 superstar players winning championships. But if you look at the teams that have won championships most recently, whether it was Boston or Denver, the collection of players are basically Toronto. But Toronto brought in a superstar in Kawhi, but they had high-level NBA players on their roster.
Yeah, but it was their depth.
So even when
it wasn't 3 superstars.
No, but you don't. But it's not going to change.
No, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing. I'm putting Denver in the same category.
Okay, all right.
With Denver and
with Toronto,
Milwaukee, Toronto.
Those are all
and Boston.
But there's only been 2 teams that come to mind for me that had 3 superstars. And you could add Golden State in there if you want to Kevin Durant.
With Kevin Durant.
But if you think about it, it was the Miami Heat, the team that Paul put together in Boston, That's really it. If you even look at our Laker teams were not 3 superstars. We had 2 of the biggest superstars early the first time around with Shaq and Kobe, and then we had Powell and Kobe, and then a bunch of little ancillary pieces. KD, Steph, to a degree, Draymond, and Clay when healthy, that was pretty much it. Other than that, the teams haven't been packing in superstar players to win championships. All the teams that have tried to get these 3 guys that they didn't grow in or draft, all those teams failed to even make it to the round.
Yeah.
So, as long as you're drafting quality players, because even when you look at Indiana and you look at Halliburton, he's an all-star. Siakam's an 3-time all-star. 2-time defensive player on the all-defensive team. That's big-time basketball.
Yeah. The one other thing, Joy, that this does is I think because of the salary cap and the way the money is structured, you have to get, when you draft well, you need to get there while guys are on their early contracts. Mm-hmm. You got to strike almost like in the NFL with quarterbacks. Like try to get them before you got to pay them the full boat. Because it allows you to build that depth and versatility.
I think a Pacers title completely disrupts the NBA. All of these leagues are copycat leagues. And I'm not saying that people are going to move away from superstars. That's not what's happening. But if the Pacers, who are 16th in spending this season, the Thunder, who are 25th in spending this season, are both in the finals, and the Pacers can beat a Thunder team that was 18 games better than them and has the league MVP, while on the way there beating the Bucks with Giannis, the number 1 seeded Cavs, and the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, NBA All-Star, second team, Darius Garland, All-Star, Evan Mobley, All-Star, second team All-NBA, Jalen Williams, NBA All-Star, third team All-NBA, Shai, MVP, All-NBA, Giannis, All-Star, All-NBA, Donovan Mitchell, All-Star, All-NBA, Karl Anthony Towns, All-Star, third team All-NBA, on the way to the finals and then beats OKC in the finals, 16th in spending with no expectations coming into this season. Halliburton, their face of their team and the leader, is not an all-star this year. Only Siakam, who isn't a household name. Playing with relying on role players and the depth, that is going to change how people have to put teams together. And on top of that, not just how the team is assembled, how they play. For whatever reason, this particular postseason has an emphasis on physicality. It feels very old school. Even this matchup.
Agreed.
Full court press. What is this, ninth grade? Like, really, I'm surprised they're not like smacking the ground and getting into their defensive stance. Like, that's what we're watching. And some of the most fun basketball that I've watched recently, which I thought was very curious, was the USA-Serbia game in the Olympics, where USA almost lost. And we were like, Serbia? But they were so physical and fundamental. The league has moved to a more finesse style of basketball over the past, let's call it 15 years, right? There's an emphasis on three-point shooting, Steph Curry, and all of this also was influenced by the international style of play. But now the international style of player is not finesse, is not just skill. They are skilled, but they're also extremely physical.
Sure.
Luka, Joker, those are physical players.
Because the international game is physical.
The international game is more physical now. So we're seeing the effect that is having on the league, and the NBA this postseason has leaned into physicality. So if you shoot a bunch of threes and you're not hitting them, Boston, then you fall into these incredible holes. And if you can't default to defense and physicality, they are a good defensive team, but not necessarily physical, then you can't keep up with these other teams that are also young, that can play that style of defense throughout the entirety of the game. So I think it is a big shift in not just how teams are assembled, but how they're playing and how they're playing in the postseason. So you do have to build a team around Luka that has a lot of defense, that has some physicality, that has shooting, has players that have a mid-range game, not just the ability to shoot the three. Because when the three's not falling, do you have another shot?
Yeah. You know what the other thing you need that we're seeing is you need a guy who can also create. Right? Because we look at the Phoenix Suns, for example. Right. Like, who's the creator? With KD and Bradley and Devin Booker. A lot of talent, right? But not the creator that gets everybody involved and makes the whole thing work.
A lot of talent and a lot of money, because they spent the most money this season and missed the playoffs. What do you think, Paul?
You know what? For me, this changes, and we saw it earlier with the Luka trade. This is going to show you teams are not going to be afraid to trade your superstar to get all-star, multiple all-stars, and depth. Like, you're going to see more of that. We're going to see some guys this summer on the move, and I don't know who's it going to be. You can see guys like Joel Embiid get moved, Zion Williams get moved to add, like, potential all-stars and just really good players.
Yep.
But you have multiple players, and it's just showing me we're back into the one superstar era.
You could say that that's what the Dallas Mavericks were doing with the Luka trade.
Well, it changes. It changes. It changes. It changes. And the way the Pacers are playing and the way OKC, so now teams are looking like, all right, if we got one superstar, fringe all-star, and we can develop our bench and add depth, we got a shot. Until somebody else comes along and say, oh, wow, they got 4 superstars and no bench, and they won that way, so let's load up.
Yeah, it changes. Like,
it is a copycat league.
Because last year it was Boston. Everybody was like, they got a big 3. So everybody tried to get their big 3 over in Phoenix. You know, Lakers just trying to build their big 3. And Dallas and everybody, you know, teams just, but now we're saying, hey, we don't need that. You know, we can add, like the Knicks, they might trade one of them stars this summer just to add 2 or 3 more good players.
You know, the other thing that we're seeing is an increased emphasis on defense.
Yeah.
OKC and Indiana is underrated as a defensive player. The reason that they're here is because they have multiple wing defenders.
Yeah.
And that was underappreciated. And largely, I think it's a byproduct of allowing more physicality. Now you can play defense rather than having shooters out there who can get to the free throw line or take open shots.
And that is I think a sneaky note that was slid to the referees this postseason. Like, maybe let a little extra pushing go. But I do think it's because the NBA has become such an international league, and the international stars are not just finesse players anymore. They are much more physical. They play a more physical game internationally. That's a big part of what the NBA is. And it's actually better basketball. It's been better to watch than running up and down the court, dropping threes. And, you know, it's been a more pure form of the game to me. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers walked right onto the practice field once someone told him where it was in Pittsburgh. This week, we will tell you who's the biggest winner in the Steelers signing A-Rod. That's next on Speak. And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. Pete Carroll was known for having Snoop and Will Ferrell come to his practice when he was USC's head coach. Fight on. Pete is bringing the fun in Las Vegas, though, as well, putting a team employee in a giant bubble, rolling around on practice fields during a drill. Key, this is your squad now. Have you ever seen anything like this at practice?
No. But Pete's known to put things together like this, though. When he was with the Jets, he had built a basketball court out in the parking lot. And we'd go out there and challenge the players. I mean, that's what he does.
Just keeps it loose?
Yeah, keeps it loose.
You're going to finish 4th in the division. You might as well have fun doing it.
The coaches I had wasn't playing around. No, they're not going to finish 4th.
Why not?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I think they're going to be 3rd.
3rd?
Yeah.
Oh, you're stupid.
Might as well have fun doing it.
Have you ever been in one of those things?
I have, but not that big. That's what I was looking at. That's a big one. But I have been in one.
How did you fare in there?
Wasn't fun.
No? It looks like you would get sick after getting out of it.
I'm not getting in that.
No?
No, that was kind of
scared.
How do you get out of it?
That's what I'm saying. How you going to get out?
You get out.
They sure are taking training camp serious.
Like, it's an opening that you can climb out of.
Good old Raiders taking training camp serious.
Leave me alone.
Leave the Raiders alone, man.
He's having a little fun.
Man, all right, Pete. Do it how you do it.
See, that one's kind of...
What a culture.
Yeah, that was huge, though, dog.
Changing the culture. This is called culture change.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to mix it up.
Yeah, no, I know.
Got to mix it up to some degree.
Listen, I get it.
And whoever's in there that's part of the staff, players probably really wanted to get at this individual anyway, so this is an opportunity for them to just put him in the bubble and just treat him any type of way.
They put that guy in there?
Yeah.
Heading east to Pittsburgh, the Steelers finally got a deal done with Aaron Rodgers. After a year of a rotating cast at quarterback, they have their QB1. So, Key, who is the biggest winner of the Aaron Rodgers signing?
The team. They got their quarterback. They were waiting around for a couple months, and they finally landed their prize quarterback. So they're extremely happy about getting him in the fold because it was once upon a time that no one really knew what Aaron Rodgers would do, right? 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Is he on a retreat somewhere? Is he in a dark room? Did he go to Egypt again? Like, people just didn't know. But they actually got the quarterback, so the team wins in this situation. They don't have to worry about starting with Mason Rudolph.
Man, the team, I'm trying to tell you, Mike Tomlin won. He was over there sweating. I don't know what. He didn't know who his quarterback was going to be. DK, he a big winner because he got a quarterback somebody can throw to. Because, like, you don't make a signing like that and be like, dang, who going to throw me the ball? You know what I'm saying? You know, he's been left out of the premier wide receivers, you know, last year. When we talk about the top guys, and now that he has Aaron Rodgers, we could probably start putting him back in that conversation if things go right there in Pittsburgh, because DK is an elite talent, still one of the game's best, I believe, and now he has a quarterback so he can show people.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers because he won 5 games last year, and someone still wants him to be their starting quarterback. He can finish his career with a good culture and a solid defense. He'll have an opportunity to walk out of the league with some sort of resolution to what happened in New York. And he has a real opportunity to win. Now, I think their ceiling is a playoff win, but that's certainly much better than a lot of places that he could have ended up. I don't think they're real, Super Bowl contenders, and they're in a better situation than the Jets were last year. Not that the Jets are in this year, but than the Jets were last year. And Pittsburgh was going to have a winning season with whoever they had at quarterback.
See, I think they are Super Bowl contenders.
Who, Pittsburgh?
I just think they are. Because you just said it, right? They're going to playoffs no matter who the quarterback is. And
No. That is not what I said.
What did you just say?
They're going to have a winning season.
Okay, so a winning season typically means playoffs for Pittsburgh Steelers. That's typically what it means.
They're not the same thing.
That's typically what it means, is that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a winning season, they go to the playoffs.
It just means that you don't have a losing season.
Okay. They're in a better position, Joy, than they were last season with him at the quarterback spot, and they made the playoffs. So I think he gives them an opportunity, because once you're in the tournament...
You think Aaron Rodgers is better than Justin Fields and Russell Wilson?
I honestly do.
Right now, today.
I honestly do. Watching him the last...
Did we start early?
4 games...
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
No, I haven't started drinking. Stop. But if you look at the play of Russell Wilson down the stretch...
The 3 good plays.
There we go.
Down the stretch, it just wasn't there.
The pass.
Russell Wilson wasn't there.
It wasn't there at the stretch. He got better. This dude, we watch it. Look at that throw. Oh, my God. Look at that throw.
I know, I've seen it.
And look at the walk. Because he knows.
We run the 3 highlights over and over again.
Doesn't matter.
I've seen
I just
them.
think they got better at the quarterback spot, and so did the Steelers. That's why they sat around and waited. What are you looking at me like that for?
I mean, we're gonna see. I'm fascinated to see how it all.
Oh man.
How it all plays out.
Man, that's not his fault.
What's it?
That's his fault.
That wasn't his fault.
No,
See,
that's his fault.
I'm not worried about him throwing interceptions. He's never been a big interception guy.
See, he can't do.
I'm worried about everything
He can't do
else.
nothing with that.
And I'm worried about the Bills, and I'm worried about the Bengals, and I'm worried about the Ravens.
Now, I understand.
And I'm worried about the Texans,
I understand that
and
there's
I'm worried about
other.
the Jets, and I'm worried about the Dolphins.
I understand that there's other teams, Joy, in
worried about
the AFC conference.
Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos.
I get it. However, that team with Mike Tomlin and a quarterback that can do just enough.
I have heard
That's it.
that statement. If I had a quarter for every time I heard that statement,
But it's true. It's true.
I could buy us a dinner.
He's definitely better than Fields.
Well, Fields didn't get a chance to play it all the way out.
He went 4-2.
But he didn't get a chance to play all 17 games.
It's better at what?
First of all, he can process the information a lot faster, okay, because he's been there, seen it, done it. He understands the defense by far better than Justin Fields would at this point in his career. At least that's what I would think for a guy that's 20-something seasons in, okay, and started quarterback 4-time MVP. He could be able to dissect a defense with no problem at all.
Is the brain transferring to the body as fast?
Yeah, but he's not in a position where he needs to take off and run. He's got to get the football out of his hands. And as long as they can run the football and play defense, they're going to be fine with him because he's not going to make those mistakes that Russell Wilson made in the end. Russell Wilson was making some crazy, head
They
scratches.
have a chance. They got to look like that Peyton Manning Denver team.
Well, that's
Peyton Manning
that
wasn't
Peyton
that
Manning
great.
Denver championship team. Anybody could have played quarterback that
That's
point.
what they got to look
But
like.
he isn't going to be as bad as Peyton Manning was his last year in Denver. Peyton Manning wasn't good. He just wasn't good. Wasn't good.
It's good enough to win.
Yeah, because he was on a team with a solid defense.
That's what we're talking about with Pittsburgh.
Well, the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers, and he'll face them in Week 8 this season. Green Bay head coach Matt LaFleur said it'll be a great challenge facing Rodgers because, quote, he'll be telling everyone our signals. Rodgers will also face his most recent team, the Jets, in Week 1. So, Paul, should Rodgers be more excited to play the Jets or the Packers?
If I'm Rodgers, now the Jets game is
Week
going to
1.
be in Pittsburgh, right?
No, it's in New York.
It's in New York.
It's in New York?
We're going. Hello, wake up.
Okay, that's right. And then the Packers game is not in Green Bay, right? That's at home for them.
Packers
not at home.
game
The Packers
is
game
in Green
is
Bay.
at home.
Oh, it's at home.
That's
Okay.
Sunday Night Football at
So,
home.
if I was Rodgers and I was playing in Green Bay, I'd be excited. But since the Jets is coming here, I'm going to have more incentive to whoop them. Because they're going to have me come out here and fly out here to let me know that I'm not on the squad no more.
Could have did that on the text.
You could have zoomed that. If you wanted to see the look in my eye, you could have FaceTimed me something.
Yeah.
Don't have me fly across country or wherever he was at to come in there to let him know, we won't be needing your services and walk out.
So
come on.
is that what you prefer as a player? Would you rather have someone call you or would you rather have them say it to your face?
Put it on Twitter. Don't have me fly out. Say it to my...
You don't want a face-to-face meeting? Because I feel like it's, in some ways, people
Because
would think
a
it's disrespectful
face-to-face
not to say
meeting,
it to
I
your
feel like a
face.
face-to-face meeting means that we're going to talk about what we're going to do next year, and I'm coming back. Like a face-to-face, you could call me and be like, look, we won't be needing your services. And I'll be like, cool.
Yeah,
But do you think it's disrespectful to not say it to his face?
No, I don't think it's disrespectful. In the times we live in, you talk to people online every day, multiple people now.
Every team I ever left, it was over the phone.
Yeah,
Send
and
me
this
my-
is not in the social
send me
media
my-
era.
So you think it was disrespectful that they brought him out?
Just send me my stuff in a box. We cool.
Tell the
I'm going
equipment
to holler
man.
at y'all. Yeah, tell the equipment man to send my packet up and just FedEx it to me. I'm
Right.
good. I don't need to talk to you.
So
What I need to talk to you
should
for?
he be more excited to play the Jets or the Packers?
He should be excited to play the Jets because the Packers, he left on his own, essentially. He created that exit for himself. The Jets, on the other hand, my dude AG was like, man, okay, I'll tell you what, hold on, sit right here. I'm gonna go get the general manager. And he can make it official. Since you don't want me to make it official for you, I'll let the general manager make it official for you, even though I'm running the show. Come on, hold on one sec. Came back down the hall. They told him, said, man, we don't need your services no more.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we don't need you no more.
That's crazy.
Who needs you, man? That's basically.
And just walked out, jumped in the car, and went back to
kept
the
it
airport.
pushing. And they went back to their meeting room and was working on whatever game plans they was working
Talking
on.
that game player, they was like, hold on, Rodgers here. Hey, Mr. Rodgers, real quick.
Yeah.
Now, we don't need you. All right, so back to our meeting.
I think it's the Packers. I think the Jets will end up being a
No, but the Jets.
footnote in the.
The Jets did him little
He won 5 games.
dirty.
He won 5 games.
Yeah,
He won
but
5 games in 2 years.
He honestly thought
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But he
Fifth.
honestly thought, though, Joy, he was going to be a Jet. He really believed that. That's why he got on the plane. He really
Someone
believed,
should have
though.
sent him the 5. Just in
I
the
understand,
mail.
but he
you know
really
what should have sent him in the
believed-
mail? A big 5.
But he really believed in the heart of his heart, Joy, was that he was going to be a New York Jet. That's why he got on the plane. Because if you know you're not going to be, you like Paul said, man, come on, man, I'll talk to y'all. I'll see y'all on vacation. I'm running y'all to hotel or something.
But this is how I look at it, though. All sarcasm aside. If we were to assume that this is Aaron Rodgers' last season in the league, which I think is pretty safe, then that Packers game is significant on the schedule. That's kind of his goodbye.
But it'll mean
to
more
the-
in Green Bay.
It will.
So he could get a
It
stand.
will, but
yeah.
it will. But there will be a lot of Packers fans there. It's Sunday Night Football. There'll be a lot of montages on the broadcast. It'll be a lot of conversation about what he did there. Like, I think that game is more significant, even though it is in Pittsburgh, than the Jets game week 1.
Yeah, but week 1 is opening week 1 season of the National Football League. A team that told you you're no good. Goodbye.
He won 5 games.
Yeah, but in his eyes, it wasn't his fault that they won only 5 games.
I need those glasses. Dak Prescott is a big fan of his newest wideout, George Pickens. Dak thinks Pickens got a bad rap in Pittsburgh and had great things to say about him. Let's take a listen.
The guy's been great. He's been phenomenal. It's a guy that loves football, loves his teammates. He's been excited every day that he's been here. He's been early. So no concerns on the personal matters of GP and anything about it. Just super excited that he's on our team. He's one of us and he's a brother, and it's just about continuing to grow and making sure that we're putting the best out there, and that's his approach.
Huh?
Is Dak right about his new Cowboys teammate, George Pickens, Key?
Yeah, and I know the narrative is out there about George Pickens being whatever you want to call him. That's the furthest thing from the truth, though. He's a good football player that at times may have gotten frustrated on the field, so those things got the best of him. But what happens is the narrative, you do some things, but that narrative is created a lot of times by the media, especially by people who are calling the game, because they emphasize things and make it sound like he's a terrible person to the point of no return. That's the way it happens. I know firsthand, okay, at playing the position. Remember, I can speak wide receiver language with the best of them.
You are the spokesperson for outrageous wide receiver behavior.
And a lot of times, you do some things in your actions, and then they take it and they twist it up and make it sound like you just, off the field, you just doing the worst.
Well, off the field's never been a conversation with George.
They got no issues off the field.
But they don't say that when they tee it up.
They call him a hot head, a detriment to the team.
And they make it sound as though he's got all these issues packaged up on and off the field. And that's not true.
But off the field is not an issue.
No.
Do you think how he's behaved on the field has been an issue?
He could have hurt the Pittsburgh Steelers team in many different ways by some of the things that he has done on the field. But a lot of that is frustration. I'm dealing with these janky-ass quarterbacks, number one. Mm-hmm. They ain't trying to put the football in my hands all the time. Just things like that can be frustrating on how you're being communicated to, okay, number one. And so, yeah, he can grow up and be a little more mature on the field. There's no question about it. And I think when you have the presence of veteran players in your unit, meaning on the offensive side of the ball, that goes a long ways at helping you mature to understand certain things. That team is a defensive-oriented team in Pittsburgh. Who could he talk to on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah.
There's nobody over there. I mean, you look at them dudes, man, get away from me. But in defense, that's not the case. He basically was the guy. I mean, you think he really, what's Russell Wilson gonna tell him? Be honest, let's keep it a buck. Russell Wilson ain't gonna tell him, hey man, he don't want to hear that. He gonna look at Russ and be like, but you got CeeDee Lamb, okay?
Yeah.
You got Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
You got Micah Parsons. Like, you got some veteran dudes that can put their arms around him.
Yeah, the question has never been about his talent. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, they realize he's a great player, so why not keep him? Sometimes you need to change cultures, and that's what's best for both organizations. He's in the locker room with Dak Prescott, well-respected in that locker room. CeeDee Lamb, well-respected. And sometimes a player like that needs a clean slate. He's not going to go in there and be the same player he was in Pittsburgh. He was frustrated, like he says. But when you get around veteran guys like this, when you get around a brand like the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones, and you see what type of organization and you see what's going on around there, you can straighten up. You can straighten up because now you feel like, all right, I got a new slate. I could be one of the best in the game. Sometimes it's about your attitude change because it's never about his talent.
I got to ask you to throw me the football? Like, seriously?
Saying this from a guy that says throw me the damn ball.
No, I shouldn't have to ask you to throw me the ball. I shouldn't have to. I should be the number one in the pecking order. I shouldn't be playing around. Those are the sort of things that will make a guy like that frustrated in the situation.
Yeah, I mean, his character off the field was never a question. He definitely had moments where he was clearly not locked in mentally with what the Pittsburgh Steelers were doing. And the quarterback situation, I think, is fair. I think he's in a much better situation as far as having veterans around him. He's not going to have to be the number one guy because of CD. He has to respect what Dak has done in the league. So I think it's a better situation for him. We'll see what he does this year. Coming up.
You got me with just straight tramp.
The Pacers defense frustrated Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in Game 3. We'll tell you how much pressure is on Shai to bounce back in Game 4 tonight. That's next on Speak.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
How do the Pacers pull off the upset tonight? Because I do have them winning. First off, they got to get off to a great start.
Siakam spins against Jordan, backs off. That's going to Siakam. He's got it going early.
2, the obvious. Y'all stated, take care of the damn ball.
Siakam, Mathurin goes in strong and finishes on the McConnell play catch. It's a beautiful pass. Neesmith throwing without the ball.
Number 3, like you said, Siakam's got to be a factor.
Siakam with another transition.
And 4, can y'all slow down OKC's bench, please? I don't want to look up and see them with 48 points off the bench.
Hartenstein down the lane. Shot is up. Won't go. Caruso inside. Shot blocked by Siakam.
Those are my key takeaways for the Indiana Pacers pulling up what you guys consider the upset, but I don't.
Paul's checklist before Game 3 was so accurate that we have to get a prediction from the Truth's Crystal Paul for Game 4. Go ahead, Paul.
I'm having a vision. I see thousands, millions of people lining up at Steak and Shake. Wait a minute, wait, what is that? They're now flooding into, they're walking into Gamebridge Arena now.
Whoa.
Millions of people, they're allowing more people than usual.
That would be
Wow,
more
this
than
is
usual.
unbelievable. There's people on the roof. It's gonna be off the chain tonight. I see the first quarter playing out. The Pacers actually have the lead for the first time after the first quarter. Oh my gosh. SGA having a game of his life. Oh God, oh gosh. It's happening again. OKC has a 15-point lead. Third quarter. Oh no, it's happening. Indiana's coming back again. Halliburton for the win. Indiana wins, goes up 3-1, guys. I see it. Indiana wins. They go up 3-1. Halliburton, oh my God, how does he continue to keep doing this? This is insane.
Yes, it is.
I gotta take this off. I can't be having these visions. Oh my gosh.
My God.
Oh my gosh.
The truth, huh?
I can't take this.
You know what? I got to try.
Oh my gosh. Do not put that hat on, I'm telling you. Don't do it. I'm telling these visions, I can't do it.
You're right. Rick?
These visions, Rick is having a vision. I can't take it. Oh my gosh, get this out of here. This is a real thing.
It's a real thing?
This is a real thing.
You know what this is? This is a little too strong of a dose.
Oh
I'm gonna go to the lighter. I'm gonna go to the lighter.
I blame Heller for this.
The lighter.
It is him. It is him.
No. When you get memes, Rick, it's just your fault.
It is him.
Let's be clear. I vetoed this.
Like a doorman at a high-end hotel.
I vetoed this. Okay, so I tried to keep track of your vision as you were spitting it out.
Wow.
So game one, somehow they're going to fit millions of people in the
Millions of people are going to flood into the arena. I don't know how. I just saw millions.
We're going to fit them all. SGA has the game of his life.
Game of his life.
OKC has a 15-point lead in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And the Pacers still come back.
And then somehow Halliburton hits big
another
shots.
game, big shot.
And then it's over.
Yeah, you didn't necessarily say game winner. You just said Halliburton.
It was big shots. I wasn't sure of the clock. That's what I couldn't see.
Okay, so your prediction.
You want me to tap in? I'll follow
your
up
prediction
on
is 3-1. What do you got?
3-1
Pacers. I can't with you in this.
What's the question?
Oh, my goodness.
What is your? Well, I mean, we were just getting Crystal Paul's.
Man,
but
that was.
that
was an amazing vision I had. Yo, something came amongst me. It was just like a feeling. What's
your prediction for tonight?
I have the Pacers winning and going up 3-1. I don't see them losing on their home floor.
So maybe it's the Hats.
Woo!
And I don't know that I have a feeling that the Pacers are only going to get better as they go along, that their offense is in rhythm.
It is him!
All right.
Stop!
Defense made it hard on SGA in game 3.
Yes! Hit me face!
Hit me face!
Where am I? Holding the MVP to just one field goal on 3 attempts in the fourth quarter. Jalen Williams was the Thunder's leading scorer, and OKC is 1-2 when Shai isn't their leading scorer this postseason. So, Key, how much pressure is on SGA tonight?
A lot of pressure. He certainly is the MVP in the regular season. He does not want his name with the other guys, the other 9 in the history of the NBA, all the way from Bill Russell to Steph Curry. It was the latest to win the regular season MVP and not cash in on winning a championship. He will be the 10th if that was the case. And so he doesn't want that pressure. Nor do they want to go 3-1, because if they go 3-1, they might as well cancel Christmas and continue to just figure out the next season, because they're not coming back from a 3-1 deficit. So you got to even the score at 2-2, and it starts with him. I know he had 24 last game. He's got to get closer to 35.
I don't think there's that much pressure on SGA, because he's been playing at a really high, consistent level. Obviously, he had 38 game 1, 34 game 2, and 24 in game 3.
But I need him to get closer to that 35.
So maybe he needs to score a little more, but he's played really well. Yeah. Like, we're not looking at this and saying that it's SGA's fault. I think the pressure is on the coach. Like, this is a game that he has to be strategic. He has to make sure that SGA and Chet and Jalen have juice at the end of the game. The Pacers are going to come out knowing that this is essentially a must-win game for them. They're going to treat it like a Game 7. This is a lot of pressure on the coach. He's been essentially out-coached throughout the series. Yep. And this is a moment where he's going to have to be really strategic, make good substitutions, and make sure that the bench is ready to go for tonight. So I don't think the pressure is on SGA.
But we sit around and we talk about other players that are the guys. I don't care if it's Tatum. I don't care if it's is Ant-Man, Joker, whatever the case is. They have solid games throughout the postseason. And when their teams don't win, we come back the next day and say, well, the coach needs to do this, the coach needs to do that, the bench needs to do this, do that. But that guy that we paying all that money to, he's got to take it to the next level. Yeah. And that's all I'm saying, Joy, is that SGA is cool at 38, 34, and 24 and playing solid, but I need you to play better than solid. I need you to whatever the little bit of slack that the other ones aren't pulling, I need you to pull it for them.
Yeah, and look, you could make the case that if SGA had come through in game 1, they wouldn't be necessarily in this position. If he
down the stretch,
if he had hit the game winner, and Tyrese had not, if he had won that little battle. But I'm with Joy in terms of Mark Dagnall has been the difference between the two coaches has been the biggest difference in this series in my mind. And I understand why, because Mark Dagnall doesn't have anything close to the experience that Rick Carlisle has, but he's outsmarted himself. He's the one that started Cason Wallace for Isaiah Hartenstein. And Cason Wallace was a big part of why OKC's bench was as good as it was. So now what are you going to do that's going to give your team the belief that you can pull the strings and put us in position to win as well as the other guy has? And there are already reports out there that if OKC loses this series, that Mark Dagnall's job could be in jeopardy. I think that's extreme, and I would more look to, because if you look at his bench, he doesn't have any veteran coaches as his assistants. That's the place that I would look to going forward, because I think that if he had some assistants with more experience, they might have talked him out of what he did initially coming into this series, and they might have suggested some things to do as this series has gone along.
Well, first of all, pressure. Yes, there is pressure on SGA. Pressure is a privilege. Like, for me to be in this position in the NBA Finals, an MVP of the league, on one of the best teams to ever play in a finals record-wise with the 68 wins, this could be a signature moment. Like, there's signature moments in players' career that you want. SGA, if he's the player I think he is, he wants this pressure. Like, the year we played LeBron when he was in Miami, we went up 3-2, coming back home. This is to go to the NBA Finals. If we beat LeBron, you think they would have talked about Spo? They would have said LeBron couldn't get it done. LeBron was been MVP. And I know this kid is young, and I know LeBron was the face of the league. But when we talk about the best players of today, SGA is in all the conversation. He gets paid like it. He plays like it. And if he wants that signature moment, this is it right here. He should be in that locker room like, okay, I want this pressure.
That's the question I have for you, Paul. Do you think he's up to this?
Do I think he's up to it? We got to see.
At this stage?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We don't know who's up to it until they do it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We saw a young Kobe shoot air balls. Did we know he was going to go along and be one of the GOATs after watching that? You know what I'm saying? We didn't know.
I mean, I did. But
Did we know that LeBron was finally going to break through when he got to Miami and beat us with that game? We call it the game. Game 6 in Boston. Like, that changed his trajectory.
Yeah.
This could be one of them games for SGA. This can change his whole trajectory on how we look at him, because if he loses this game, most likely he's going to go on and lose the NBA Finals. There's no guarantee you can get back to this spot right here. And I know you got a good team that's built for the long run, but eventually you're going to have to start using some of them draft picks. You're going to have to start signing some of them players. And that cap going to come into play. So this right here is the biggest game of his career. So pressure, of course there's pressure. Does he feel it? I don't know. We're going to see tonight.
Yep.
Well, Luka and LeBron hit the ground running as a duo after Luka arrived. Luka had some success in Dallas, but Lakers legend and friend of the show, Magic Johnson, says the expectations in Lakerland are different. Magic said, quote, Luka, it's great what you did in Dallas, but the difference is in Los Angeles, we expect championships, and we expect our superstars to lead us to a championship. LeBron already did that. Now we want Luka to do the same thing. Fired up, Key?
Yeah, of course. Let's go.
Are you confident that Luka delivers the Lakers the title?
At some point in his Laker career, I am, but not next year. But at some point in his Laker career, I think, yeah, because
it doesn't sound very confident.
What do you mean?
It just doesn't sound very confident.
What you want me to say?
We're gonna say, we're gonna get this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of things.
Yeah, they gonna win.
Come with us.
No, it's got a lot of
believe
things
in.
have got to
Come on,
fall
Key.
into
gotta
place.
believe.
Come on, Key.
You're not
Bring it.
A lot of things got to fall in place.
There you go, Paul.
It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna
Key,
happen.
come on with
next
us.
season, man.
Come on with us, Key.
It's Friday.
Come on, Key.
Come on.
Just a little bit.
Come to the meeting.
Just a little bit.
Come to the meeting.
Come on.
Have some goat's milk.
Goat's milk or goat's
Goat's blood. Goat's blood.
Goat's blood.
Yeah. Goat's milk. Is
No,
fine.
we'll be fine. Don't worry about us. Y'all worry about y'all team. Don't worry about us. I think in the future, it's going to be built around Luka.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be built around him. Right now, we get ready to send LeBron off to, retirement. You know what I'm saying? Give him a free car and a rocking chair and let him do all his things.
That's why it's going to take a minute. Because I don't think you move in that direction until LeBron is out of the picture.
Yeah, that's why I said not this year.
And so I don't think anytime soon is the answer. It took 6 years in Dallas to build a team.
But Dallas organization is not the Los Angeles Lakers organization.
No.
Did you not just hear what Magic said?
Yeah, I heard what Magic
We win
said.
championships. That's what we're about.
You know what? How many
Okay?
years it took? It took quite a few years to win a championship with LeBron, even once he got here.
It took 2 years.
It took
2 years.
3 years.
2. We won with a bubble third year, I think.
3 years. Okay, so 3 to 6 years.
I mean, he's not even 27 years old.
I understand that, but first of all, you have, like, as I said, you can't do anything until LeBron has retired. So you're at least 1 year away from it.
Yeah, I
This
wouldn't
is- this is
expect it
whole
next
year.
year either. I think the roster has to be built to complement him, but once they can, I think they're able to make real moves to do it.
Man,
Now,
we're gonna
keep in
get rid of
mind,
that. We're gonna get
LeBron-
rid of that $60 million that we paying LeBron. That's off the books after
Okay.
this season.
But you,
All right.
but to turn it like right away, I still think it's going to take a couple years after that.
Okay, so you say 1 or 2 years they got for them to turn it. You know, I don't believe they're going to win a title the way Luka plays. He's very ball dominant. You know, that's one reason. And if he changed the ways he plays, it gives him a better chance, but it's going to be hard. He's been playing this way first team in the MVP conversation.
True.
Another reason, you have Joker in the conference. He's going to be good for another 4 or 5 years. In 3 or 4 years, you know who else? Wembanyama.
Yep.
He's going to be in the mix.
Fair.
Ant-Man is still going to be in the Western Conference. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is
Okay,
just
so he's
now
not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
Yep.
Listen.
That's fair. That's fair.
No,
It might be hard times for the Lakers.
This is going to be
Now that
some hard times
hard times.
for Luka Doncic to come out of
Come
the
on,
West.
Key. Come on. You gotta
because
get-
of some
you
of the
gotta-
names
come
that
on.
I done
You need
mentioned.
some of this.
Being buried.
You need some of this.
Laker haters.
Key,
that's-
No.
you need some of this.
But I'm just saying, look at what he gonna have to deal with in the Western
That's
Conference.
true, but he's not
And I
going
ain't
to be the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, and
he's not
neither
gonna be by
are these
himself.
guys. In 2 or 3 years, Wemby may be the best player in the league.
That's cool. He can be the best player in the league. But he's gonna
Ant-Man,
have some players.
maybe he could be the face of the league in 2 or 3
So
years.
you don't think
2 or
that
3
Luka's
years,
gonna win a
Ant-Man
title
might be on the Laker uniform or
Well, I
something.
love
You don't know.
Luka, and I love, you know, the numbers are gaudy, but he has to change the way he's played. We haven't seen anybody win with this style of play. We've seen James Harden. We've seen Brunson.
He's gotta
We've seen
play
guys
faster.
who's been ball dominant. That doesn't win. And the way he plays, I don't see him off the ball. You know, he can't run the lane. He can't spot up. You know, he has to
Not
change,
slashing.
not slashing. So I don't know what type of team you build around this style of play. Because when I'm watching Indiana, how they play, move the ball and get to the finals. When I'm watching OKC, Shai, he's ball dominant, but not as ball dominant as this guy. Because at least Shai, he's A to B, downhill most of the time. He's not side to side, dribbling the air out of the ball. So unless he changes the way he wants to play and they build the right team, I just don't see it in the Western Conference. He have to go out east if he wants a chance.
You know
your
y'all
point-
not going to win another title in the Celtics land
We built for it.
again?
We built for it. Y'all looking like Instagram models. Y'all look one way, you catch them in person, they get swept.
Just a little bit.
Coming up, Jalen Brunson voiced support for his former head coach, Tom Thibodeau. We'll tell you if that confirms the Knicks made a mistake firing Tibbs. That's next on Speed.
Man, that look good on paper.
Instagram models look great.
Look great on paper.
Jameis Winston joined the Giants this offseason, and teammate Darius Slayton has already noticed a unique characteristic from the quarterback. Speak up, Darius.
It's so hard to describe. It's just like how I'm talking right now, he'll be talking just like this, and it's just the random thoughts that come to his head and they just come out. And it's like, we were talking about, you know, a slant. How did we get to Kentucky Fried Chicken? You know, it's like just hard lefts. Like, I can't think of an exact example, but like that's how I could describe it. It's just like random hard lefts, but then he comes right back on topic. So it's like, am I tripping or are you tripping?
Key, have you ever had a teammate like Jameis?
No, I'm a little like that, though. I might be talking about something and then all of a
Nah,
sudden
you ain't like Jameis.
go course.
Jameis.
No, I know what
Jameis.
Darius is saying, though.
That Jameis different.
No, but I mean, just having a conversation and then you stop in that mid-conversation, you might go to something else and then get right back on that conversation. I'm like that a little bit, you know.
That's called ADD or something. That is.
I haven't been diagnosed with that, but yes.
That might be something like, he thought he just got off the subject quick.
Fridays are impossible.
Man.
Why?
Hey, listen, I'm telling you something. Giants might not win a lot of games, but they're going to have the most positive locker room in all of it in NFL.
Thanks to Jameis.
Jameis and
Russ.
And Russ Wilson. I'm going to tell you, they're going to have
Yeah.
the most positive locker room
They
and
should
all
put
of football.
a God and Jesus jar in there.
Man, I'm talking about it's going to be positive.
They're not going to have to pay for a single team meal.
Man. Please, Lord, take me away from interceptions.
Lord Jesus, God. They'll be covered.
Between them.
Every time somebody got to put $1 in the jar.
Yeah.
Getting back to basketball, the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau despite reaching the conference finals, and it had some players surprised by the move. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart both talked about how much Coach Tibbs meant to them. Take a listen.
I've known my entire life, but I remember having conversations and moments with him when I was in 8th grade when we moved to Chicago. To have Tibbs and to do what he did for my career, I'm just so grateful and thankful for. And so, not enough things can be said about what he's meant to myself, my career.
Tibbs was my 6th coach in 8 years. So it's good. The NBA coaching, profession it's tough, and whenever you guys don't, finish kind of how you wanted or expected, like I said, there's always going to be changes. That was a tough one, but I just think that there should be nothing but praise for him and his time, in New York.
You got to do better than that.
Oh. Does the Knicks players' reactions prove that this firing was a mistake?
No, it wasn't a mistake. Tibbs has been there long enough. I think he pushed the Knicks as far as they can go. And I think at this point, they need a new system, a new voice. When you've been there so long, I think he maxed out the roster. And the players got love for Tibbs. On your exit, you don't hardly ever see players talking about, thank God he's gone, or thank God, and those guys love him because Josh Hart became the best player he's ever been under Tibbs. And so did Jalen Brunson. So I know they're going to have nothing but good words for him. And so I don't think it was a mistake. Well, the mistake came in is not knowing who's going to be the next guy. Once Jason Kidd turned it down, I turned it down. It's just they didn't know. They don't know where to go, what direction to go in now.
Not after those two.
The two best candidates.
Yep.
So I don't know where they go from here.
Why don't we have Paul Pierce on this list?
Yeah.
No, I was on there. I turned on the job already.
These are current coaches that were denied permission to speak.
See, that's why, though, Joy. That's why I think it was a mistake, because you just said current coaches denied the permission to speak. You should have had your ducks lined up in a row prior to firing your coach, and know that, hey, I got something in my back pocket just in case it goes a different direction. Doesn't feel that way. When you keep, as Paul, let me see if I can get one of Paul's analogies correct. If you keep trying to court a girl and then she don't want to talk to you, you know what I'm saying? At some point, you're going to have to give up.
She don't want to talk to you because she's married.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's married. What
They're proposing to married women. You see this ring?
But
no.
No.
But married
and married to a CEO in most cases. They got the deal.
And the ring, you're not even offering
coaches,
a bigger ring, and the ring might end with a divorce in 2 years.
But coaches have been taken away from organizations in the past.
Everyone they've talked to already has a job.
Yeah, but there's been coaches that had jobs that you've been able and allowed to talk to that you persuade.
You ever seen the movie He's Not That Into You?
I don't know that I have. Maybe I did. I don't know. I'm probably, maybe not.
I feel like the Knicks don't understand that they are not the exception to the rule.
No, they made a mistake. They made a major mistake. It's a major mistake because you're supposed to have your ducks lined up. You're supposed to know.
Two things can be true. And first of all, every GM that I've known has always walked around with a list in their pocket.
Of candidates.
Of their candidates.
Yes, absolutely.
And whether they have a head coach or not, they have who they want, if they could get them, who they would want. And this doesn't seem like the Knicks had that list, or if they did, it was an awfully faulty one. But two things can be true. The Knicks can have screwed up this process, and it was still the right move in terms of moving on Tibbs, and I think the players' reaction would suggest that they agree with that, because everything that I heard them talk about was about what he's done for them, not what they were still capable of doing. I hear an appreciation.
Because if they say what he's capable of doing, then now you really are smacking the organization in the face as a player. So you're trying to reserve that, you know?
But if you disagree with this move, then you could leave it more open that, you know what, we're really going to miss him. Like, he did a lot for us. I mean, everything they said was, man, we are so appreciative of what he did. I just didn't get any sense from them that they're like, that they don't agree with us that it was time to make a change.
He's not coming back. So, you know, I don't know that I feel like they were very clear that they appreciated their time with him. I maintain they should have given him one more year.
Yes.
I think it's crazy that you get to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years as an organization. You made the playoffs for
every
the last
year they
5
keep
seasons.
building.
Every year you've gotten better. And no one expected you to be there in the first place. We were not talking about them as real contenders to get to the finals. Like, we just weren't.
But once you're there, and I really think that...
Then they overachieved. So, like, why not? What's one more year going to do? Because next year, you've now put the next person that's coming in an almost impossible position. Of the expectations clearly are this team, with whatever tweaks we make as an organization, must get back to the Eastern Conference Finals or better. So any coach that already has a job, which seems to be the only coaches that they're interested in, is not going to leave their organization to go for those kind of expectations. Even Jason Kidd, who I think of all of those coaches that they have tried to steal away, is in the most, you know, crossroads type of situation. He is not expected to get to the Western Conference Finals next year. So that's a high mark to hit in your first year as a coach for the New York Knicks. And then really what they want you to do is get to the finals, because Tibbs took them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that wasn't enough.
Understood. And I think that, unfortunately for Tibbs, it's circumstance. And he lost to a team that also massively overachieved, and that's the Indiana Pacers. And he lost to an Indiana Pacers team 2 years in a row after the Knicks went and got a Mikal Bridges and they got a Karl Anthony Towns, and it still wasn't enough. So your rationale makes perfect sense. You did enough that you deserve another crack at this. But I think that the thinking was, man, like, if you couldn't get past them now, why should we believe that you're going to get past them at any point?
Because what's getting ready to happen in this situation is, like Joy is saying, you're getting ready to bring somebody else in that's got to do exactly what you did or better. And if that person doesn't do anything close to that, now you're getting ready to set the franchise back even further. Because if you go and you make whatever little tweak or adjustment with Tibbs for the following season, you may wind up hitting and getting over. Otherwise, part ways with it.
You may, but if you're the GM, if you're Leon Rose, if you're Jim Dolan, and you look at the moves that you've made to put together your roster, and you look at the Indiana Pacers roster, you're saying we should beat them. We gave you the roster, and then you add on top of it that it was only by force that he went into his bench to utilize that roster completely. I understand the grounds on which they made this decision.
Well,
we gave you a roster that was better than you made it out to be because you weren't willing to fully utilize it until you had to.
And that may be the case, and that's probably why he lost his job. But with that being said, you don't have a note in your pocket with names on it.
Well, another prominent NBA figure denied the Knicks yesterday, so let's take a listen.
I found the perfect coach for the Knicks.
I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying. I mean, I know. Hey, listen, if y'all need a coach for the New York Knicks, I'm not available. So you. Wow. Tough job. I'm not taking that job.
Paul's not taking it. Quinn Snyder also was denied permission to speak with the Knicks. So since you're not going to take the job, who else should the Knicks go after, Paul?
Man, I don't know. It's going to take a certain type of personality. And this is like, the more and more I think about it, it's going to take a certain type of coach that's going to have to embody what New York is pretty much all about. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you look like at somebody like Patrick Ewing, you know, when I think about it, who has some coaching experience, or because I think yesterday I mentioned like Coach Bud, but I don't think he fits that mold of what a New York coach should embody for the Knicks. This is going to be a difficult decision because all the guys that they went after, like Jason Kidd, he checks the boxes for a New York coach. Ime does, Snyder does, but these guys aren't available. So, I think they should take their sweet time and get the right person because this can go it could go left if they don't have the right person. And the fans, the New York fans, will turn on you. If you don't put the right coach in place that can make the necessary moves and adjustment to get them over the top.
They might want to start with somebody who doesn't already have a job.
Paul Pierce.
No, I'm good.
Paul has a job.
I'm good.
Coming up, will two-way Travis Hunter have a bigger impact on the defense or offensive side of the ball? That's next on Speak. Ooh. Mike Tomlin moved Steelers practices to the afternoon and was asked by reporters yesterday what prompted the change. Speak up, Mike.
Wasn't hot enough last year. To be quite honest with you, heat aids in the development of physical conditioning. It makes it a more stressful environment, and that's what we go to camp for. We go to camp to get better, and if it's a little bit more miserable later in the day, man, that's what we want.
So, Paul, Mike Tomlin has moved practices to the afternoon, so it's hotter.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll.
They just run around with in the thing, playing hide go seek and whatever. Obviously, one guy taking camp a little more serious. The other guy,
Man, stop, man.
He's shooting dice at the casino. Like, come on, guys. Next thing you know, they're gonna be at the casino all together with the coach, shooting dice.
Stop. I mean, it is a kind of a funny juxtaposition.
I mean, I'm saying one coach, they
freaking 200 degrees in Vegas right now.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. Do you think practicing in the heat is beneficial?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Mike Tomlin talked about it. The development, the stress. You got to think when you are fatigued because of that heat. Your mind goes somewhere else. You get to seeing them white spots when you out there running. You know how that when you out there running and you ain't in shape. It's something totally different. I love Tampa. Well, I love New York too because we was in the heat in New York, but in Tampa. That thing was different.
Right
being
now
in Florida.
It's different. Wait, I don't know. Does it get rain? Does it get humid in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it rains. You get that quick little shower, and it's a wrap after that.
Yeah, but it's training camp is.
I can't deal with humid.
And then when when I was in Dallas,
Miami training camp. Woo!
But we got out of Texas when I was in Dallas, and Jerry moved training camp to the Oxnard to the beach. And Parcells, he hated it because it was 70 degrees. Every single day.
Cool, calm.
Yeah, we was straight, right, as players, but Bill hated it because, much like Coach Tomlin is saying right there, the conditions, you want them to be tough. Mm-hmm. You just
that heat or having to run when it's so cold out and the cold air is hitting your lungs.
Yeah, but in the summertime, during training camp, you're not going to get no cold air.
No, but I'm saying like both of those experiences.
Not good. But that
out for me.
Your hair, being in Miami, if you was out there in Tampa practicing with us, you might as well just put it in the ponytail and keep it pushing.
Just covering Miami training camp in my radio days was like, you have to do physical activity in the sun. I'm under a tent.
It'd be so hot.
Just sitting there, just hot. Hot.
Hey, Paul.
Like the heat is right here the whole time.
I'm trying.
All jokes aside, Paul, I'm a dark-skinned looking brother. No question about it.
Yeah.
I got a nice tone. But after I get out of that training camp, ooh-wee. that training camp and that heat and that sun, what it do to you? Yeah. Boy, you be like, damn, Key, what they kept you in the oven too long? Dark is all outdoors.
Like Michael Blackston.
Man, what? Twice. It's so dark, all you see is teeth. That's it.
Would you rather have extreme cold or extreme heat?
Heat.
Ooh.
I probably would take the cold.
Heat.
Because I can warm my body up, running around and stuff like that. That heat, though.
It's hard to cool off.
The heat, though, between your feet hurting because the ground is so damn hot in them cleats, and the sun beaming down on you wearing all that equipment, and you trying to think about the next play or what it's miserable.
I'm not trying to deal with that cold.
No, but the cold, though, you're going to be straight.
You want the cold?
You can warm up.
You can warm up. You're going to be all right. Only time you really cold in the cold is when you standing on the sideline. When you out playing, running around, you good.
Joy, you ain't gonna be able to think in that heat.
That heat, Joy, I'm telling you.
Gonna think.
I am a Heat person.
Man, I done had many.
I got a heated blanket on right now.
Many white spots running around in that heat to the point where it's like
Your body can't even function when it gets to that cold.
But your body
like your
overheat.
muscles,
Your body
you can't.
overheat.
The football's a brick.
Yeah, but I can do better in extreme cold than that extreme heat for a whole game. It's just too much.
Nah, I'm going with the heat.
Your body overheats.
Your body doesn't even work when it's that cold. Can't even move.
Mine work.
You can move more in the
Tyler.
cold than the heat.
Time to do some research.
Well, he's got to wait till he comes back from Alaska.
Speaking of extreme cold, during Jacksonville's OTAs, Travis Hunter only practiced on one side of the ball each day. That changed at the end of minicamp this week when yesterday Travis Hunter played on both sides of the ball in a single practice. Jags head coach Liam Combs called it a test drive ahead of Hunter practicing on both sides of the ball during training camp and during the season. So, Key, will Travis make a bigger impact on offense or defense?
I feel like he's going to make a bigger impact on the defensive side of the ball because most teams that you face got two dominant and then a third receiver. So you need that extra body on the defensive side of the ball, like a Travis Hunter, to go match up with whatever receiver you want to put him on. Offensively, he's too dependent, though, on that quarterback and that offensive coordinator and everybody else to do their job for him to get the football. And if I know every single time that Travis Hunter's coming into a football game, then guess what? I can set the defense to Travis Hunter. I could double him. I could take him out. I could do all of those things if he's going to play on the offensive side of the ball for a significant amount of time. Defensively, I can line up in man-to-man and say, go, that dude right there, man, shut that dude down. And he can do that with no problem at all. I'm depending on other receivers to run their routes the right way, the offensive line to block, the running back to pick up whatever blitz protection he needs to pick up, and the quarterback to throw the football so that I don't get my head knocked off, and the offensive coordinator to realize that he needs to call plays to get me the football. And now I'm taking the ball out of other players' hands because they have to utilize me significantly.
Yeah. What do you think, Paul?
I just believe the learning curve between receiver and cornerback in the NFL is two different learning curves.
No, it is.
Now, because think about this, in college, at the corner, you ain't going to be seeing major receivers every week. In the NFL, you're going to be seeing some
but he's my best,
every week.
He's my best corner. I need him on
but they not
Chase,
running
so
these
I
same,
need him.
I know, but they're not seeing the same routes that they saw at Colorado, that they see Chase running and all these guys running.
That's why I need him over there.
Yeah, but the learning curve is faster at the receiver than it is
harder.
at the corner.
No, way harder.
He could get open, catch the ball, quarterback now like
you can't just run and get open. You're going to have, in certain places, that whole Travis Kelce stuff, that doesn't apply to everybody. So he's got to be precise in his route running, be at certain points that he's supposed to be at for the ball to be delivered in sync, or else you mess around and get the quarterback hit upside his head because he's waiting for you to uncover and he's holding the ball and then Aaron Donald's hitting him in the chin. Where at defensive back, like I said, Paul, all I do is say,
You swear Aaron Donald's coming back.
Okay, so Myles Garrett.
Key is on a campaign to get Aaron Donald back in the league.
No, I just, dude, working out too much for me.
Man,
he ain't gonna fool me. Come on, man. I know what that looked like. I'm gonna work out.
I'm telling you, he's just keeping his routine and he's gonna go into acting.
That may be true. I'm not saying that it's not, but when you work it out this close to training camp all the time, 5 days a week, and you running on the field and
That's what he's used to doing.
Okay.
I think Travis will make a bigger impact on offense. I think he'll adapt to the defense more quickly than the offense, but I think throughout the course of the season, what he will do for Jacksonville offensively will end up being more impactful than he will defensively because he's such a big playmaker, and that feels like that's what Jacksonville needs. Like, they need a thing that puts them over the edge. Trevor Lawrence hasn't really stepped up into what we've expected him to be in the league so far, and having a weapon like Travis Hunter in his rookie season, I think will be able to do that for him. Coming up.
It's fun to see.
It is. Our colleague Tom Brady is getting a huge honor in New England, and I'll tell you what that is on Friday Flowers here on Speak.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
It's Friday, so that means I get to give out some Friday flowers. Tom Brady is about to be immortalized forever by the Patriots organization. The team announced that Brady's statue outside of Gillette Stadium will be unveiled on August 8th during a ceremony before New England's preseason opener. The statue will be 12 feet tall, a nod to his number 12, and made of bronze. Brady will become the first Patriots player to get a statue at Gillette Stadium. His number's already been retired after Robert Kraft waived the customary 4-year waiting period for the team's Hall of Fame to get the GOAT in sooner. So congratulations, Tom. Can't wait to see the reveal later this summer. Giannis is giving back to his community in Milwaukee. He and his foundation, the Charles Antetokounmpo Family Foundation, partnered with Habitat for Humanity and GE Healthcare to help build affordable housing in the city. The event was part of the Powering Milwaukee Forward initiative, which was created to ensure people have access to safe and affordable homes in the area. In a statement, Giannis said, quote, "It's more than just a roof. It's about stability, love, and the chance to build a better future. Seeing the impact today reminds me that when we invest in people in their neighborhoods, we're building a stronger future for us all." Great stuff from the two-time MVP. The Texas Longhorns just added another title to their mantle. After losing the championship series 2 of the last 3 years, Texas won the Women's College World Series in 3 games over Texas Tech to secure the school's first national title in softball. Sophomore pitcher Tegan Cavan, who lost her grandmother during this run, was named Most Outstanding Player after a dominant performance. She allowed 0 earned runs in 31 2/3 innings and had a 4-0 record with a save throughout the College World Series. Her 0 earned runs in 31 2/3 innings is also a Women's College World Series record. So congrats to the Texas Longhorns. Coming up, the Pacers are up 2-1, but they're still a 6-point underdog heading into Game 4 in Indy tonight. We'll tell you if the Pacers are being disrespected next on Speak. The Pacers were 5.5-point underdogs in their Game 3 upset of the Thunder, and now they're 6-point underdogs tonight, even though they are at home and have a 2-1 lead against the Thunder. Oh, it's disrespect?
This is complete disrespect.
Call the Pacer.
I don't know. How is the team that's got the better coach? I mean, I know the record don't really speak as loud as OKC's, but we've seen it all playoffs. We've seen it since round 1, 2, and 3, New York, Milwaukee, Cleveland, and now we're seeing it here in the finals. But this is who the Pacers are. This is how they thrive, just sitting in the kennel, being the underdog that they are, and I'm sure they wouldn't want it any other way. So they're going to look at that like a slap in the face because the leader of their team has been going through that all year with the sitting on the bench for the USA team, being called overrated.
Overrated.
They thrive in this. They thrive in this where they're at, sitting in the back, like they in the back of the kennel. Like they don't care. They're gonna continue to thrive and watch. And watch. Total disrespect.
No, I don't think it is. Because if they don't steal Game 1, they might be
But they
down.
didn't steal Game 3.
No, I'm saying that, but they might be down 2-1. And I think many people believe
This
that's
is what
out
they do.
there.
They steal. Milwaukee, they stole a game.
Yeah,
Cleveland,
but
they stole
many
a
people
game.
out there believe that they're going to even up the score tonight, 2-2. OKC is. That's what many people believe that they're not going to continue to just all of a
But
sudden.
it's a bigger spread than it was for the last
Yeah,
game.
I understand, by half a point.
But they won the last game.
I understand. But OKC was up till that 98-98 happened, and all of a sudden, Indy took the lead, and that was it.
I think it's disrespectful.
Totally.
They don't believe in him. Let's just face it. People are not believing
They do
yet.
not believe that
Think
they
about
will
it.
win.
I'm on the boat still. I'm chilling. I ain't even
You haven't
panicking.
jumped yet?
Not yet. Ladder.
Coming up, we've had a great week of analysis, laughter, and even a little bit of spookiness from Paul. Stick around for the best of the week next on Speak.
That's funny. Key didn't want to join the cult.
I feel like Magic had the original bag.
Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete had the original bag. We're going to go back.
That's too cool. I wouldn't. You covered him, so I
Anyway, I almost mispronounced a word. Keys like this.
I see him out the corner of my eye.
You see?
I didn't do nothing but look.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm clean,
R&B
baby.
rapper.
Hey, I'm clean. You know what I'm saying, baby?
Look at him, looking like a
You know what I'm
rapper.
saying?
Though.
Hold on,
Give us
though.
100 Drew Hills.
Yeah, I'm too cool to be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Look, that's that spot.
You know what the kit man is?
No, you give me education.
Okay, so the kit
Dude on
man
the
is
sideline giving everybody towels.
Shut up, Paul. Let this man explain.
that's you, bro. You prepare the kits before the game. You put all our jerseys in the locker.
No, you're crazy for that.
No, that's okay.
You're crazy.
I got something for you when we get off the air.
Kitman Key, before we go, it's time to check in on our social life. The Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final right now. And big bro, Jason Taylor was on hand last night ahead to bang the drum and fire up the crowd. Unfortunately, Cats did not win last night. Pretty incredible game, though. Paul, you ever gone to a hype up, gone to hype up the fans like this before? For a game?
Not a hockey game. I've been to a hockey game. I had a chance when I played for Washington, see Ovechkin, though, in this prime. Real dope. Yeah, no, he came into the locker room one day in our locker room. He had like his teeth where he had no teeth. No, seriously, them hockey players,
that's a hockey.
damn, he didn't even have no veneers or nothing. He just walked in there.
Hockey's different.
Hockey different.
Hockey is different.
Different.
But the Cats gonna bounce back. That's it for us. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day.
Hey, sirs.